Many thanks for staying with us on Report Desk Africa. In case you're just joining us, you've missed the first half of the show where we talked about police brutality, which was brought to the fore by a sad incident, talking of the death of Bolanle Rahim on Christmas Day. But anyways, we are going to the next story now that we promised to share with you. And the second story is still in West Africa, but this time in Ghana, where the police have warned against harmful New Year prophecies. Now, in Africa, people believe strongly in prophecies, especially moving into New Year. At crossover services in churches across the continent, you see clergymen use the opportunity to make predictions and projections into the new year, which sometimes cause fear, anxiety, or even death. Now, the police, however, urge the public, especially faith-based groups, to ensure continuous compliance with the law on communication as 2022 winds up. We'll be back to talk about this on the back end, but right now let's take a look at this report as packaged by Bettina Nweli.
On December 27, 2021, the Ghana Police Service drew the attention of the public, especially members of the religious community, to the law regarding the communication of prophecies and urged compliance to the law to ensure continuous security and law and order in the country. The statements commended the public, particularly religious groups, for their cooperation over the period by being circumspect and conscious of the law and adopting legally acceptable means of communicating prophecies to those affected.
Let's get to the prophecies of harm or danger. There is no provision of the law which says you can't prophesy, because the law is not targeting prophecies. But this is what the law says. And I want you to pay attention to this very carefully. It says, if you publish or reproduce a statement, it wasn't just statement, that says rumor or report, which is likely to cause fear and alarm to the public, or to disturb the peace, knowing or having reason to believe that the statement is false, you must prove that prior to publishing it, prior to communicating it, you took reasonable measures to verify its accuracy.
According to the authorities, as part of measures in sustaining the gains made so far, the police service has adopted December 27 of each year as the Prophecy Communication Compliance Day. The day has been set aside to remind everyone to practice their faith within the confines of the law to ensure a safe, secure environment free of anxiety generated from predictions of impending harm, danger, or death. While some pastors have taken this as an affront on their religion, others claim it violates the constitutional right for freedom of religion and therefore illegal.
So the police administration says that would cause, by and large, the 31st night, the church complied. They should not use their scarce resources in trying to analyze our prophecies. If we're telling us what to issue, that is building up, we stay.
The Ghana police have warned that the ban on alarmist New Year prophecies is still active, saying those found culpable will be penalized. As the Ghana police work hard to curb prophecies which can cause fear, anxiety, or death, it remains to be seen how clergymen will adjust and comply with the law. Bettina Nweli, reporting for News Central.
Joining us to unpack this very interesting conversation, though we don't have so much time to do it, is one of News Central's anchor. If you follow our station very well, you probably have seen her on Village Square Africa. She also is Ghanaian, by the way, so she's the right person to take up this. Kemini Amano, thank you so much for joining us, Kemini. Today, you are the guest and we are the anchors. So
yes.
Right back at you.
Kemini, welcome to my show.
Very awkward position.
Truly awkward. Kemini, tell us exactly how, prophecies, I beg your pardon, how they go in Ghana, and what are your thoughts about this particular story? Do you think, it's a subtle way of dampening, or should I say, or clamping down on churches? And does this law actually affect freedom of religion?
Okay, so I'll start with what it looks like on 31st night in Ghana. Because of the internet, people stream whatever they're doing. The churches do the same, right? So on 31st night, they set up, and there's a special hour within the church service where, these prophets come up and share a long list of prophecies, all kinds of prophecies. They tell you who's going to die. They never say who is going to make money. It's always who's going to die. What doom is happening to the country? Will the president live or die? Such prophecies. And so last year, just as the report said, the police decided we've had enough, okay? So do not tell us any more of your prophecies, especially when we don't know where it's coming from. And on a personal level, right? I love this. In 2021, 31st night, there was a lot of sanity. The prophets understood the warning from the police, and for those who thought that they could maneuver the administrative decision by the police, what it did was they used anecdotes, and who pays attention to anecdotes? So I love it. Okay. But when we look closely, and I want to answer the question about clamping down, when we look closely at what is happening now, you have the freedom of worship on one hand, and the police operating on the back of the law on fear and panic, which the lawyer gracefully explained. And the conflict between the two is what is causing some people to believe that the worshippers should have the ability to do what they want. But I love it as it is.
Okay, but very quickly, I'd like to ask now, and well, this may sound like a funny question, to what degree of accuracy can you say some of these prophecies have actually come to pass?
I've got to say that the prophecies are so many that I don't remember. But what I'll add is, yes, we've seen some of the prophecies come to pass, and we've seen a ton of them also fall by the roadside. So, I mean, I don't know divination. I can't really say if these are true or not, but I can assure you that I've had some sanity since they stopped.
Well, I mean, accurate or not, you would want to wonder why people would want to bring messages of doom on a New Year's Eve. You know, I was thinking at first, I was going to ask you that. I mean, isn't it the same as giving hope to people, you know, just generally prophesying it's going to be a great year for you? But if this is the case, then it's very, very oddly specific. And then, I mean, like you said, it causes a lot of panic to people. So whether or not it's accurate, I don't think that people should get into a new year knowing that someone they know is going to die, or someone, or it possibly even will not happen. But, you know, putting that level of fear in people is something that should be challenged.
Absolutely. I agree with you. It should be challenged. And that's why I'm all for this administrative process. It's not a law yet. And in fact, I think that the police took one prophet on. The case was lost in court because then again, you need to back this administrative decision by the police with the law. The law on fear and panic didn't hold in court when they went to court. But the truth also is that a lot of these prophets are drawing people in. On 31st night, Christians go to church and they listen to these people hook, line, and sinker. And so what are you doing to the masses when you're constantly coming in with these prophecies that, and look, for traditionalists like myself, this isn't a problem for me. But for Christians, those who are not as enlightened as Blessings, I know you're a Christian.
Oh, I am. Proud
those who are not as enlightened as you will not be able to tell when this is an exaggerated prediction or it's actually a prophecy from the divine.
Let me quickly,
sorry, apologies, but I would like to ask, Kemini, you are one of many Ghanaians who is in support of this initiative or new law or whatever it is.
Yes, I am.
How many more Ghanaians do you think are in support, and what is the statistics of the ones you think will be against it? Because truly, some people follow these things, you know, they just follow it head on. They don't care whether it's real or not. There's just a kind of commitment they have to these people, whether or not they're going the right path, they don't care. So do you think that there are certain people out there who are against this, who are like, leave our pastors for us, leave our prophets for us? We like it that way.
If social media, and your question is in two parts, so hear me. If social media is anything to go by, then I'd say that people are in support of this. But when you see the numbers at church, which I don't know how it compares to social media, you'd know that people at church still want to hear these prophecies because they plan their lives according to what they hear at these 31st night prophecies. I mean, who am I to say I'm not here to convert or convince? And so if you go to your church and you hear that and you like it, good enough for you. But for the rest of the nation. I mean, spare us.
I know. Now, very quickly as we wrap this conversation up, taking it into countries like Ghana and Nigeria, where, like one of our guests said this morning, one of the shows, there's a church on almost every street when you get into these countries. Do you think this new law, eventually would have any effect on the growth and expansion of churches like we see regularly? No.
It wouldn't. There will be absolutely no impact on whether another church will mushroom there or here. People will still worship God as Christians. And I don't see and again, because it's not a law, I don't even see the prophets adhering to it through and through. In 2021, Prophet Nigel Gacy, very famous prophet in Ghana, he began his anecdotal, and I hope I said the word well, prophecies in Ghana, where he called Ghana Umuofia. So he gave his prophecies according to Umuofia. But at the end of the day, we all knew he was talking about Ghana. So one, the prophets will not necessarily stop prophesying. They will find ways to maneuver the decision, and churches will not stop mushrooming. But my question is, why is it only Christians?
I think I get what you mean with that question.
Why is it only Christians?
Yeah, we have other religion groups.
Why isn't the imam of the mosque saying something, to usher us into the new year? But it's always Christians.
Well, so to clear the air, yeah, I believe that different people and their different practices, right? So the imam might want to give you words of encouragement for the new year, might want to pray for you for the new year, and so will thousands of other churches. But these particular group of prophets who just give specific prophecies, especially prophecies of doom, it's not a generic thing. So I would just like to clear the air. There are people who...
Here's where the conflict gets bigger. Right there in Ghana, there are aspects of the Christian faith. The Pentecostal Charismatic Churches Association, I believe, they have come out to support the police's position on this. And then there are those, the Holy Ghost Fire churches, who also are against this. So, I mean, really.
Exactly. I think it's even within the fact that not every Christian.
not everyone is on that. Well, this is a nice place to drop the conversation. Kemini, I'm hoping that we can continue this off air eventually, because
we will. We traditionalists need to talk.
Kemini, I have some prophecies for you. I'll see you.
Well, I have one prophecy for you, Kemini, and I'm very sure that this one is going to happen. You're going to be working for News Central come 2023. That's my prophecy.
Right on the money.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Kemini.
Clearly, like Kemini has said, it's not this is not peculiar to Ghana alone. So many African countries, largely because we know that countries in Africa are largely religious. People always look for some kind of, would I say, good hope for good fortune come the new year. So they wait to listen to prophecies. Some of these prophecies may be real, some may be not. Just as you have some pastors who are real and some are not. The same way you have some imams or traditional leaders who are real and those who are not.
I don't even know what the craze is. There's some particular people who just go to churches or religious centers just because they want to hear something that will spark them up. And when I say spark them up, I don't mean encourage them. I mean, they want to hear something specific, something definite. And like, the Nigerians in West Africa will say, what do you define? You go see them. Exactly. Because like they always go about looking for miracles. If it's not miracles, they're looking for definite words that they can run.
Like you talked about miracles. I think it was during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo that he clamped down on some of these television broadcasts of religious houses, churches particularly, where they do some kind of miracles, some that were very questionable, and all of that. Because it really messes up with the minds, like Kemini said, of people who are not well enlightened. Well, just before we go, we have Bettina Unweli to give us forecast, not just for the new week, but particularly for the new year. Bettina, you are the first person to see what may happen in 2023.
Bettina, so give us the prophecy.
That crystal ball and give us the prophecy come the first week of 2023.
Hi, Bernard, and blessings. As much as I would like to give you a prophecy, I don't want it to be false. However, I will give you the forecast into what we'll be looking at for next week. First of all, we'll start off in Ethiopia, where the Ethiopian Airlines, they have resumed flights into the Tigray region after about 18 months of keeping away from that region. Now, from Ethiopia, we'll move on into another country, and guess what country that will be? We're going to be moving on into Nigeria. Now, Fitch predicts slow growth for Nigeria in 2023. A Fitch Solutions country risk and industry research report has predicted that the Nigerian economy will continue to slump in 2023 due to activities leading to the general elections next year. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are hoping that that is also a false prophecy. And finally, we'll be moving on into South Sudan, where South Sudan sends troops to DR Congo. And the president of South Sudan, officially, he has deployed 750 troops to Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo to join the East Africa Force, trying to bring peace to the DRC. Those three topics we'll be looking out for next week.
All right, Bettina, all I want to say concerning those three topics that you mentioned is that the one concerning Nigeria and the downward turn concerning the economy, I want to consider that as fake prophecy. That's all I
agree. False, very false.
False prophecy. That's all I have to say.
It's let's be hopeful that it's false prophecy. Because I mean, looking at the track record, I'm not going to say much.
Blessings,
but anyways,
blessings, you are a false prophet. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much, Bettina. Once again.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year in advance to you too. Well, blessings, that's it. That is, there's this meme, we'll call it a meme, or this reel on social media that's going around. And with this, I would like to call it the end of the 2022 season.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is the end of 2022 season for Reporters Africa, right?
I know, right? I know. So we would just like to say a big thank you for riding with us for 2022, and we will go bigger and better 2023. See you next year.
See you next year. My name is Bernard Akede. This is a big thank you to everyone who has been a part of the show all through the year. Hoping we do it again next year.
My name is Blessings Masugo. Have a lovely day.